Well, good morning to you. It's Tuesday, and we're going to read Ephesians 6:10 through 20. Let's do the whole bit. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. Stand, therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying at all times in the Spirit, with all prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplications for all the saints, and also for me, that words may be given to me in opening my mouth boldly to proclaim the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that I may declare it boldly as I ought to speak. Ephesians 6:10 through 20. Now here Paul takes up this metaphor of getting on the armor of God. Now, everybody in the ancient world had seen a Roman soldier. And they'd seen a Roman soldier with his breastplate and his the things on his shins and the little skirt sort of thing that had leather and metal-tipped strips in it. They'd seen his helmet, they'd seen his shield, they'd seen the sword. So they knew what a soldier wore going into battle. And Paul takes each one of these things and compares it to something that we might need in a spiritual battle. I'm reminded of, 30-some years ago, there were these books by Frank Peretti. He was a fairly good novelist. And he wrote 2 or 3 books about, one was called This Present Darkness. I forget the name of the other one. But it was about a small town where the forces of evil had decided to attack. And they were doing a pretty good job of attacking. The only thing that was holding them back was this little old lady. And her prayers were the only thing, holding back the forces of evil. And I thought, yeah, I get it. And it works in a story, but really, one person, one little old lady praying is the only thing that the forces of good have on their side? I don't think so. But it made for a good novel. Anyway, so Paul sees all of this that comes our way, all of these temptations to behave badly, not as simply temptations that happen to us because of our flesh or because of our human nature, but temptations that come from these dark powers that want to rule over us. And he sees all these different things that compete with each other to rule over us, and yet at the same time, in fact, do rule over us and keep us down. And so we should put on this armor so that we can fight in this battle against these evil powers. And this armor, we could translate this passage and they put on the Kevlar vest of faith and put on the helmet, like the military wear the helmets with all the little gizmos hanging down from them, the sound radio devices and stuff, and take up the machine gun of faith, but in the current climate, I wouldn't want to go too far with that because somebody would take it seriously and do it. But do all these things, he says, so that you can stand against the evils that want to fight against you and want to want to conquer you. And if you do that, then also pray, and pray for each other, and pray for him, he says. Pray for me, that words can be given to him so that he can proclaim boldly the gospel in his defense when his time comes in prison. And so that's where he ends up his letter. We have one more lesson, so we'll finish Ephesians tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So have a great day today. It's November 1st, All Saints' Day, so remember those who've gone before you, all the thousands of people that told each other the gospel by the fireside and grew up and told it to their children and their grandchildren, so that someday you would know it and be able to come to church. So your faith is not something you decided. It's something that depends on a huge lineup, a huge structure of all these people that came before. We should remember them, even if we don't know their names. So that's what this celebration is about for us. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.